Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Christine, and this week's book is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski or Danielewski. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'm not sure which one is correct. This is one of the most famous examples of ergodic literature, which just, ergodic literature is like where a book is structured differently from your traditional, chapters, here we go, start to finish, goes right through. It's books that sort of require a little bit more effort on the part of the reader. It's not my first rodeo with ergodic literature, and it's not a genre that I read that often because it is work. But this is one of the more famous examples of it. It is a cult classic. I think it was originally published in the year 2000. It took Mark Danielewski 10 years to write it, so it took a really long time, and you can see why. I'll start with the basic plot, which in and of itself is not easy to describe because there are 4 kind of levels of what's going on. So at the very center of it, you have a pretty effective horror story. The family moves into a house, and I think the purpose is for them to become closer as a family, and unfortunately it has the opposite effect. When they move in, they discover, or the husband discovers that the house is slightly bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, which is really weird. And he brings in all these experts and all this equipment to measure it properly. He quickly becomes, kind of obsessed with how is that possible? And then eventually there's a door that should lead, when they open it, it should lead to the garden outside. When they open it, there's a hallway. They can't explain how that is. So that's the initial layer, and that part of the story is the Navidson record. It's Will Navidson and his family. The Navidson record is the central plot of the house. Their videos, he took videos of all of the forays down the hallway, the explorations of that space, the explorations of the house. And so you've got that. Then the second layer is this character named Zampano, who has written about the films and about the tapes. And so you've got his transcript, which sort of forms the book. It describes what's on the films. It goes into details about that, and he writes about all that side of it. But he has died at the beginning of the book. I know, just bear with me. Then you've got the third layer, which is Johnny Truant. He found Zampano's transcripts of the Navidson record. Okay? So the really cool thing about, and then there's a sort of fourth layer of the editor making notes about Johnny Truant's notes, which are about Zampano's transcript, which are about the Navidson records. It's very confusing, but it's not really when you read it. Like, I was amazed at how accessible the book was, because I gotta say, I was really intimidated to start this one. It has a very big following. It's got a really a big reputation as well as being just a spiral. It's got this reputation of being super ambitious, and it keeps you, I think that the point of all these different layers and the way that it's written is to keep you feeling off kilter at all times, because at its heart, it is a horror novel. You've got this weird hallway in this house, and believe me, nothing good happens down that hallway. I'm not going to get into the details, obviously, because of the layout of the book. So you've got like the Navidson records, then you've got Zampano's notes, which are in a different font. Then you've got Johnny Truant's notes, which are in a different font again. And that actually makes it easy to follow whose story you're reading. But at the same time, I can't even explain how many footnotes are in this book. This goes beyond anything. Some of them you can absolutely skip. I mean, I think at one point there was a footnote that was 2 pages long, and it was just a list of photographers' names. you know, okay. But I think the great thing about that is that the idea, like, yeah, you can skip them, but the idea is that it's keeping you feeling like unbalanced in the story. This is not a book that I would recommend to most people. I think you have to really love reading in order to read this book. And I know that there are people that absolutely hate this book because they think it's pretentious and they think it's, I don't know, like trying too hard and whatever else. And it's not anything special, because the types of people that like it are the types of people who will say, you didn't like it because you just didn't get it. Those kinds of people suck, okay? That's fine. They're always going to be around. I wouldn't quite say it's a love it or hate it kind of book, because I wouldn't say that I loved it, but I did really like it way more than I thought I was going to. And I very much admire it for its ambition and the way that it tells its story. I mean, there are parts where you have to turn the book around because the writing is upside down. There's parts where, you know, it makes sense. Like one scene, they're talking about echoes and the writing is in 2 columns. It makes sense if you think about it. I like that. I really enjoyed that kind of off-kilter weirdness to it. The sheer volume of footnotes. Not only are there footnotes on footnotes on footnotes in this book, there is also exhibits, Appendix 1, Appendix 2, and Appendix 3. This is not for the casual reader. This is a real challenge, and it's a challenge that I'm glad that I took. It's very cool. I like the way that it's written. I really love the story of the family in the house. Like that was, it was really moving, like surprisingly moving. And the husband, you know, he just becomes obsessed with finding out what's in there. I really enjoyed the story about the family, probably the most out of all the layers of information. I found their story really moving, especially the relationship between the father and the mother of the kids, and the main character, Will Navidson, and his brother. I thought that was very touching. I really, really enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed some of the appendices that went with Johnny Truant's story. I think like one of them, so you get a series of letters that his mom wrote to him, and in some of the letters she's trying to give him secret information where you have to take the first letter of each word to read what she's actually saying. Like, it is not easy. I was there with like a pad of paper. I had to like go through it. But it's really, really good. Like if you're into something that's just a little bit more, I would give this one a try. Like it really is good. I will say I feel like maybe he spent so much time setting up all of these layers, he didn't really know how to end it. So I can't say that I loved it, but I did really enjoy it, and I really appreciated the unique way that the story is told. But as I said, this is not for the faint of heart. Absolutely not. And if you're going to read it, you have to have a physical copy. I don't even know if you could do this as an audiobook. I doubt very much that it's even available as an audiobook, because I just don't think you can. You need to have a physical copy. If you're the kind of person that likes to annotate their books, you are going to need a rainbow of colors to do it. I had, I think, about 4 or 5 bookmarks on the go at all times while I was reading this. It was quite crazy. But I enjoyed the challenge of it, and I liked the style of writing. I liked the way that it kept you off kilter for so much of it. I believe that the main character, Will Navidson, it's hard to say that there is even a main character. I believe Will Navidson is based on a real photojournalist named Kevin Carter. There's a portrait that they talk about that Will Navidson has taken, and It's called Delisle, and it is the photo of a young girl who's starving, and there's a vulture in the background. This is actually a real picture. It's quite a famous one by Kevin Carter, and apparently when he took it, he was told not to interfere, not to touch her because the disease and that kind of thing. And so he didn't. And he wasn't able to reconcile himself with standing by and watching and being an observer. So he actually ended up committing suicide 3 months after that picture was taken. It's very clear that the picture that they're talking about in the book is inspired by that one. That's a Pulitzer Prize winning photo. It's pretty famous. So when they started talking about it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. So I looked it up, and yeah, there it was. I like them bringing in that sort of touch of reality to the book as well. It just sort of adds another layer. It just, yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed reading it. It's not that I didn't think that I would like the book, but I was very much intimidated to read it because I knew about the millions. I think it's in the 600 footnotes range. So I knew that there was a lot of footnotes. I knew about the crazy wording and the way that the typeset is set up. I knew you had to turn the book around sometimes to read it. I knew about, certain parts are struck out and they're in red ink and other parts are in blue ink. And I knew all that going in. And it is intimidating. So I would not recommend this as a casual reader. But if you kind of want something crazy, if you want to challenge yourself, this is a good one. It's very, very effective. I like the cover. It's sort of got this, I don't know if you can make that out. It's like black on black, but some of it's matte, some of it's shiny. And then you've got like the staircase that's in the hallway. Then open it up and there's like pictures of weird stuff in there. So yeah, I like the cover. There's another one that I've seen that's absolute garbage. Don't get that one. So if you've got a choice, go with this. I like that there's pictures of houses on the spine. That's kind of cool. So yeah, if you're looking for a book that's a bit different and you want a challenge, I would definitely recommend House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. All right, we'll see you later.